You might remember the advert with the slogan, "You've been tangoed," which kicked off a slapping craze among children. More recently, we were asked, "Are you beach body ready?" which was thought by many to be sexist, but was actually banned for making misleading health claims. But the most complained about advert ever was the Kentucky Fried Chicken Zinger ad in 2005, which featured call centre staff eating chicken. The offence? Well, viewers didn't like watching people with their mouths full. Was that sufficient to get it banned? In this video, I'll explain the regulations that govern TV adverts, how to make a complaint about an ad, and the consequence for the broadcaster if a complaint is upheld. I'm Daniel Barnett, a barrister based in central London, and I'm the presenter of the Legal Hour on LBC Radio. Before I explain the rules for TV ads, please give this video a thumbs up and press the notification bell to get alerts for my latest Legal Explainer videos. I'll give you 4 seconds if you don't mind. Thank you. 4, 3, 2, 1. TV broadcasters are regulated by the UK Code of Broadcast Advertising, known as the BCAP Code. It's the broadcaster's responsibility, not the advertisers, to make sure that the TV ads they air abide by the rules in both letter and spirit. The ASA, the Advertising Standards Authority, investigates any complaints and enforces the code. The overall aim of the BCAP Code is to prevent adverts being broadcast that mislead or cause serious or widespread offence or harm, especially to children or the vulnerable. It includes rules about who can appear in TV adverts and when the adverts can be scheduled, as well as what should be in the content. Some regulations are specific to the target audience or the product or the service marketed, such as alcohol or gambling. Others are blanket principles to be followed at all times. Section 3 of the code deals with misleading adverts. It measures the effect on consumers, not the intent of the broadcaster or the advertiser, and includes both claims explicitly made and the general impression portrayed. Advertisers are not allowed to present subjective claims as fact. Behind the scenes, any broadcaster has to have evidence to substantiate any claims being made, although, ironically, wild exaggeration is allowed as long as the average viewer would recognise it as such. TUI, the holiday company, breached this rule in an advert for summer holidays, which in fact applied only to flights booked in September or October. Although that qualification, September or October flights only, was referred to in little text on the screen, and the dates were within the airline's summer period, the Advertising Standards Authority found that most viewers would logically assume that a summer holiday would include June, July, and August. They upheld the complaint of misleading advertising. There are a whole host of other ways in which an advert can be misleading. For example, by failing to acknowledge limitations to the product or service's availability, such as geographical limitations or stock levels, omitting costs such as non-optional taxes, where most consumers would normally have to pay them, listing rights enshrined in law as though they're a specific benefit of the product or service, falsely suggesting that the business is closing down, claiming to be superior to another product without specifying which elements being compared, and using false testimonials. The code also protects audiences from TV adverts that may be harmful, either in content or delivery. For example, broadcasters must have regard for viewers with photosensitive epilepsy. Where children are involved, either as likely viewers or as participants within the ad, there are higher standards to meet. In January 2022, a Dairylea advert was banned following complaints about health and safety. It featured 2 children discussing where food went if you ate it when hanging upside down. The advertiser said the risk of choking on a soft cheese triangle was very small. It had also scheduled the ad at times that would limit the children's exposure to the advert. But the Advertising Standards Authority found children might try eating Dairylea hanging upside down, and the scheduling restrictions weren't enough to limit that risk. As such, it broke several sections of the code, among them Rule 5.1.4, that it was likely to encourage under 16s to copy practices that might be unsafe for a child. The infamous "You know when you've been tangoed" ad in the 1990s also risked falling foul of rules relating to imitable behaviour. In that case, there wasn't just a chance that children might copy what they saw. The ad actually kicked off a whole new happy slapping craze, and as a result the ad was withdrawn and new versions were created. As for the Kentucky Fried Chicken Zinger ad, featuring people talking with their mouth full, despite the record number of complaints, it was regarded by the Advertising Standards Authority as unlikely to promote bad manners in children, and so it didn't breach industry guidelines. Adverts that cause serious or widespread offence against generally accepted moral, social or cultural standards are also prohibited. Broadcasters must take particular care around certain topics such as disability, race, religion, sexual orientation and gender. In 2018, soft cheese manufacturers were again in trouble when a Philadelphia ad was found to have caused harm and offence because it was based on gender stereotypes. It featured two hapless fathers who were passed a baby by a mum, and they left the baby on a conveyor belt. The advertiser's defence that it was a comedic portrayal of life as a new parent didn't impress the Advertising Standards Authority, which ruled it perpetuated the idea that men were less competent at caring for children than women. The notorious "Are You Beach Body Ready" advert, it was actually a poster campaign rather than a TV ad, but similarly it ran into difficulties following claims of sexism. London Mayor Sadiq Khan banned it from public transport for body shaming, but it was actually censored by the advertising watchdog for making misleading nutritional claims. It's free to make a complaint to the Advertising Standards Authority about a TV ad on the grounds set out in the Broadcast Advertising Code. There's a form you can use on the ASA website, it's linked to in the show notes below, or you can phone or write to them. You'll need to have to hand the who, the what, the when and the where. Who is the broadcaster who broadcast the advert? What is the product being advertised or the service being advertised? When and where did you see it? Now ideally, not necessary, but it's ideal, you should take a photo or a video or a screenshot of the advert, which will help the Advertising Standards Authority track it down. Once you've submitted your complaint, the Advertising Standards Authority will assess it and let you know whether they require further information from you, they don't agree the ads breach the code, they're working with the advertiser informally to resolve the issue, or fourthly, they will open a formal investigation. Once under investigation, an advertiser or a broadcaster has to present their defence in writing, along with supporting evidence. The ASA will consider all the relevant factors, consulting experts where appropriate, before making a recommendation to the ASA Council, which will rule on the issue. The Advertising Standards Authority has the power to pull the advertisement or suspend it temporarily while investigations are ongoing, or amend it in line with their findings. They'll often give the advertiser guidance so they don't fall foul of the same regulation again. Broadcasters can be punished for serious or repeated breaches of the code. They may be fined, their Ofcom license might be reduced in length, or even suspended, or even revoked. Now, when necessary, the Advertising Standards Authority can also pass cases onto the courts or to a different regulatory body. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, you might also be interested in whether you can legally watch TV without a license. I'm Barrister Daniel Barnett. Thank you so much for watching. Please do subscribe to this channel for more Legal Explainer videos on all subjects of UK law. Bye bye.